So IgG has got two antigen combining sites. So IgM has got IgM has got 10. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. IgM has got how many? 10. IgM has got 10 antigen combining site. IgA has got 4. IgA has got 4 antigen combining sites. And IgE, IgD, they have got 2 antigen combining site. IgG has got 2 antigen combining site. So repeat with me. Antigen is multivalent, whereas IgG has got 2 antigen combining site. IgA has got 4 antigen combining site. IgM has got 10 antigen combining sites. IgE and IgD have got 2 antigen combining sites. They just okay. Now, as I said, this is an antigen. It can combine here, it can combine here, it can combine here, it can come anywhere. A very small portion of antigen combines with the antibody. Very small portion of the antigen combine with the antibody. The antigen where it combines with the antibody, it's called as epitope. Everybody, the antigen where it combines with antibody is called as epitope. The firmness with antigen and antibody combined, the firmness with antigen antibody combined is called as avidity. It's called as the firmness with antigen antibody combined is called as avidity. Okay. Now, while describing the antigen antibody reaction, we define 3 terms. Specificity, sensitivity and titer. Specificity, everybody, specificity, sensitivity and titer. Specificity, where antigen combined with only homologous antibody. Specificity is defined as everybody when antigen combines with homologous antibody. When antigen combines with homologous antibody. Sensitivity is defined as when antigen combines with both homologous as well as heterologous antibody. Homologous as well as. So specificity and sensitivity are inversely proportional. The test which is more specific is less sensitive. The test which is more sensitive is less specific. They are inversely proportional. Okay, tell with me. The test which is very sensitive, less sensitive. The test which is very sensitive is less specific. Okay, now titer is defined as highest dilution of serum in which antigen antibody combine in observable manner. Titer, everybody, titer is defined as highest dilution of serum in which antigen combine with antibody in observable manner. For example, I'll give an example. If there is a, you can observe agglutination 1 in 10, 1 in 20, 1 in 40, 1 in 80, 1 in 160. You don't see agglutination. Then 1 in 80 is a titer. 1 in 80 is the titer. 1 in 80 is the titer. Highest dilution of serum in which antigen combine with antibody in observable manner. So these terms you should know while describing. You come across these terms in your examination. We ask you in the oral examination also. So according to the new rule, now onwards, like your first year examination, we will have 20 MCQs, not 2 marks questions and 5 2 marks question and 5 1 marks question and 5 MCQs. It's going to be 20 MCQ. So although NTR proposed the change in the examination pattern, because overall results, if you say MCQ, a lot of students are failing. What is happening is MCQ, what we examiners, they give a very PG NEET examination questions, or MCQs are so difficult you do not know the answers. For example, sometimes I have to refer the books to see the answer. So MCQs are very tough. For that, again, you have to prepare, work hard, read every day to pass the examination, to get distinction or first class, whatever it is. Okay. Anyway, you have to appear for NEET PG examination. There only MCQ. So there are various antigen antibody reaction, mainly agglutination. Everybody, agglutination, precipitation, complement fixation, neutralization, radioimmunoassay, enzyme linked immunosorbent, that is ELISA. Now first we'll go for agglutination and precipitation test. Agglutination, agglutination and precipitation test. Agglutination and precipitation test. What is the difference between agglutination test and precipitation test? What is the difference between agglutination and precipitation test? Agglutination, the antigen is in particulate in agglutination, the antigen is insoluble, particulate in nature, insoluble or particulate nature. Precipitation, the antigen is in soluble nature. Precipitation, the antigen is in soluble nature. Antigen is in soluble nature. Agglutination is good for detecting antibodies, whereas precipitation is good in detecting antigens. This precipitation can be converted into agglutination test by tagging them onto inert particle like bentonite, latex, RBCs. This precipitation test can be converted into agglutination test by tagging antigen onto bentonite, latex or RBCs. Most commonly used latex, that is latex agglutination test, latex agglutination test, latex agglutination test, latex agglutination test. Now coming on to the agglutination test. Most often asked question, it's a very important question in your final year examination also. Agglutination test. As I said, antigen is in particulate nature. Okay, and it is antigen antibody reaction is lock and key phenomenon, specific in nature. They are specific in nature. They are specific in nature, and antigen combined with antibody. This antigen antibody reaction can be reversible. There is nothing goes wrong with antigen antibody. It's completely reversible. Now coming to the example of slide agglutination test. You have already done in your physiology blood grouping, RH typing, blood grouping, RH typing. Who discovered blood grouping system? Any idea? Anybody? Carl Landsteiner in 1900. Depending on the antigen present, it's grouped into A, B, O. A, B, AB, and O. And there is one more factor called as RH factor, rhesus factor. This factor was found earlier in the rhesus monkey species. That's why it's called as rhesus factor. Blood grouping and RH typing is done by slide agglutination test. Then major cross matching, minor cross matching. Major cross matching, we give the donors RBCs mixed with the recipient serum. Minor cross matching, recipient blood RBCs into donors serum. Minor cross matching. Then finally in our lab we do, whenever we isolate particular organism in the culture media, we do slide agglutination test with specific slide agglutination test with specific antiserum. We do slide agglutination test with specific antiserum. So everybody, example of slide agglutination test are, everybody, example of slide agglutination test are blood grouping, RH typing, major cross matching, minor cross matching, identification of isolate in the laboratory by specific antiserum. Okay. Now coming to the tube agglutination, there are we do what is called as agglutination for FUO, or PO, pyrexia of unknown origin, fever of unknown origin, pyrexia of unknown origin or fever of unknown origin. The first and foremost test is Widal test. Widal test is done for enteric fever. Widal test is done for the enteric fever. Then we do Weil Felix test. Weil Felix test for typhus fever. Weil Felix test for typhus fever. Weil Felix test for typhus fever. Brucella agglutination test. For brucellosis. Brucellosis. Brucella agglutination test for brucellosis. Then we do MAT, microscopic agglutination test for leptospirosis. Four tests. How many? Widal test, everybody. Widal test for enteric fever. Weil Felix test for typhus fever caused by rickettsial group of organism. Brucellosis for brucella caused by, it gives rise to undulant fever. MAT, microscopic agglutination test done for the diagnosis of leptospirosis. So other agglutination tests are these are the name of the people who discovered this test. Paul Bunnell test. Paul Bunnell test. Paul Bunnell test for the diagnosis of infectious mononucleosis. Infectious mononucleosis, or it's also called as glandular fever. It's also called as glandular fever. It's also called as glandular fever. Caused by, belongs to herpes group, it is called Epstein-Barr virus. Again, named after the discoverer, Epstein-Barr virus. Next is cold agglutination test. Cold agglutination test and streptococcus Mg agglutination test. Then for the diagnosis of mycoplasma pneumonia. Then for the diagnosis of mycoplasma pneumonia. Mycoplasma pneumonia is a pleomorphic, cell wall-less organism. Mycoplasma. Okay, we'll continue. The other tests are Coombs test and latex agglutination test, Treponema pallidum hemagglutination test. We are put it onto the RBCs. Latex agglutination test. Continue in tomorrow's class.